questions. How do you feel about hip-hop culture in France versus in America? Do you feel like it's more appreciated overseas than here at home? And also, as growing up, I used to watch MTV Raps, and I learned about MC Solar through Fat Five Freddy on MTV Raps. Do you think he is credited for opening up French hip-hop to the world, especially here in the U.S.?
All right, thank you. That's a great question. I'll start with the last part. Fab Five Freddy actually did a lot for both for rap to become known in France, to get things started, because actually Fab Five Freddy was part of a group of rappers that French promoters Bernard Zécry and Jean Caracos brought for a tour of Europe back in the 1980s to perform. So he helped, Fab Five Freddy was one of the artists, and in fact, while he was there, that's when he discovered MC Solar. And so the other way around, Fab Five Freddy was the one who introduced MC Solar to the US, and in fact, at the time, it was the first time I saw a video on MTV with subtitles. In 1993, MC Solar, Nouveau Western was the song that was played, and you would have the subtitles. So in terms of if it's respected or how it is perceived, I think that some of the things that go around is that some people have a tendency to say that in France and in the rest of the Francophone world, the rappers, they continue to be more, as we would say, engagés, as activists. So in terms of continuing to have even a politic agenda in their songs, and that's something that existed at the beginning, but that continued to be very present, even though there are many different kind of form of raps. And sometimes, in the US, people say that the new generation, it's more about what we would call in French the bling bling, the money. And so I have kind of a funny anecdote about that I will share very quickly. But there were just elections in France for a new president, and in fact I didn't know about this, but a friend of mine sent me that video that was made by Jay-Z and I forgot who was the other guy. Yeah, was it Kanye West? Yeah, they did that video, Niggas in Paris. Have you seen it? Okay. And so this video was with François Hollande, who became the elected president of France, right? And so they were kind of in some ways, supported him. So one of my friend who forwarded that to me, he asked me, if I had any comment about that, and if it's typical for rappers to be involved, in the elections like that. And so what I told him was that in France, it is actually very common to see artists, and not just rappers, when there are presidential elections especially, to take side, with one of the candidates. And what was interesting in that case was that for the previous election, when Sarkozy was elected president, the one rapper who took his side, his name was Doc Gineco, and he kind of so Sarkozy won the election, but Doc Gineco, since then, he has been kind of disappearing from the scene. People are like, what was he doing out there, And so what I was telling my friend is that, those guys, one thing for sure is that there was a good idea for them to bet on rappers, because Hollande just won the election now, and Sarkozy did in 2007. So this time, he had Sarkozy, he had a folk singer. His wife, she sings as well, but he didn't win. But let's hope that the future of Jay-Z now won't be the same than Doc Gineco.
I'd like to answer your question as well, as far from a dancer's perspective. I think that to the question, is hip hop dance appreciated in France? I think the artistic ability speaks for itself, and I think that hip hop dance and urban dance culture is no longer a thing as Americans that we can say is ours. I think it's something that is definitely transcontinental, and I think every city, village that you go to, I mean, I've gotten down in Belarus, I've gotten down in Sarajevo, and everybody's got their old school dancers. They got the guys who've been putting in work since the 80s, and they have their own take on what is good movement, and they still appreciate where the dance comes from. So specifically, like, I think the artistic ability that you see in the French dancers that are here for this event is proof enough that France is putting in work.